only debate between Andrew Cuomo and Cynthia Nixon is in the record books, and at times it got heated.
The fire is still very active, burning up this home here on Anthony Avenue. Take a look at what we're seeing. A lot of excited commuters hopping on this brand new Soundview ferry headed to Manhattan. If you do head outside, you have to find ways to cool off. We've got some kids here in the park finding a lot of creative ways to cool off. The violence broke out here on the corner of Radcliffe Avenue and Williamsbridge Road around 4 o'clock in the morning.
Massive explosions reported at a cosmetics factory in the Orange County town of New Windsor.
Good morning. Construction crews are putting up scaffolding for sidewalk safety outside of this building where the partial collapse happened. Mike, don't jinx me. You keep talking about needing 2 umbrellas. I only have this one, so I'm really hoping that things don't go south for me. I've been lucky so far, but we are getting pounded with rain here in the Bronx. It's pouring down.
Well, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on News 12 The Bronx. I'm Torri Singer. We'll get to those top stories in a bit, but first, here's a quick look at weather. And Sears is expanding its tire installation program with Amazon. It's now in all 50 states. Those who buy tires on Amazon can have them shipped directly to a Sears Auto Center for installation. Talk about a dream job here. 4 universities want to pay you to eat avocados. It's all a part of a new study. Researchers at Penn State, Tufts, and 2 West Coast universities want to see if it helps with weight loss. Welcome back. The Yankees continuing their longest homestand of the season at Yankee Stadium last night. Here's News 12 The Bronx reporter Pat O'Keefe with more. Mike, it's Friday Eve, and I just heard you say a minute ago that there's some maybe good news.
Good news for the weekend.
For the weekend.
These changes here are now coming more into light.
The Bronx man is sentenced to more than 24 years in prison for his role as a leader in a sex trafficking ring. Jamel Goddard pleading guilty to conspiracy to commit sex trafficking of a minor. Court documents showing he recruited vulnerable women and a 15-year-old girl and made them have sex with multiple customers each day, keeping all or most of their earnings for himself.
Neighbors and friends of Lisandro Feliz who watched him grow up say they're shocked and devastated. They say they never expected something like this to happen to the young teen. And we're now getting a closer glimpse at who he was. Take a look at this image a neighbor has given us. We also have photos from Facebook. We now can see who Lisandro Guzman Feliz was. Friends describe him as a bright, good kid who loved his family, his siblings, and playing video games. Police say the teen was pronounced dead at St. Barnabas Hospital, just 1 block away from the bodega cops say he was stabbed in front of in his neck on Wednesday night. Now, officers say the teen got in a fight with a group of men shortly before the violence broke out, where he was stabbed on either side of his neck around 11:40 at night. Still, a lot of details are being discovered, and police at this time talking to neighbors and friends in the area who may have seen or heard something as the commotion happened last night. The suspects fled in an unknown direction, and police are asking anyone with information about this violent crime to give them a call. In Belmont, Torri Singer, News 12 The Bronx, back to you.
Here in our borough, Chopper 12 above University Heights High School in the South Bronx, the students made their way outside while Cardinal Hayes held their own memorial for those victims. That's where we find News 12 The Bronx reporter Torri Singer with the latest.
17 empty chairs sit in honor of 17 shooting victims a month after the Parkland school massacre, as student walkouts continue to captivate national attention. Hundreds of students here at Cardinal Hayes are memorializing the lives lost, gathering to remember and urging legislative action as the conversation about school safety and gun violence continues. A 17-minute silent protest standing in the bitter cold forces people to acknowledge the tragedy and reflect on how we can create change.
Unfortunately, they were never able to start the chapter in their life, so I feel like they're part of the youth, and it's my duty as being an active part of the youth to represent them and to give them a voice.
If we are going to stop those innocent people from being killed daily, we need to act upon that immediately, as soon as possible, something that I feel passionate about, and I know my community feels passionate about as well.
Students tell me they won't back down, and they say it's their responsibility to make sure the 17 students who lost their lives didn't die in vain. From Cardinal Hayes High School, Torri Singer, News 12, the Bronx. What's your secret ingredient for the best guac? Ever add crickets?
We had some really good tacos and some guacamole that had bugs. I found out that crickets are my favorite bug to eat.
A growing group of insect enthusiasts are celebrating edible bugs at Brooklyn's first ever bug festival.
Majority of the world are already actually eating insects as a part of their regular diet, and we are actually in the minority. We think of bugs as the creepy crawly things in our houses, not as like an edible shelf product.
Chef Ivan Garcia says bugs are protein packed and people are starting to take notice.
I'm so excited to prep that dishes for the people because many people doesn't know how healthy is eating.
The fact that we're not comfortable with bugs is just completely a learned attitude around it. And so I think if people can venture out and try things like this and be a bit open-minded about it, you can see that it's a lot more sustainable way to have food, and it can be really delicious as well.
Personally, I'm more inclined to fear them than feast on them. So with a little coaxing and a few deep breaths, I decided to taste this food of the future. They say the best way to conquer a fear is to experience it, so cheers to me overcoming my fear of bugs. Honest opinion, crunchy and seasoned to perfection. In Bushwick, Torri Singer, News 12, Brooklyn.